Hi. Hello. We've got blockchain brunch. I've got a new angle for you guys. So this is like a part of the desk. I know we've been talking a lot about that. So hi, welcome to blockchain brunch. I am just checking on LinkedIn so I can see your comments. And it says it's not working. Oh, there we go. Okay, beautiful. All right, so let's start with our intro. Welcome to Blockchain Brunch, everybody, where the alpha is fresh, the coffee is strong, and the hiring tea is hot. I'm Emily, the crypto recruiter, and every week we dive into what's happening in the Web3 job market, the trends, the talent, and the truth behind who's hiring in Web3. So welcome, everybody. It's good to see you. We've got a couple people in the room. 135 people signed up today, which is like insane. I'm so glad that we're bringing value to the community. Couple things we're going to cover today, and then Trevor's going to join us. Who is actually hiring in Web3 this summer? Let's talk about the quiet shift to part-time and contract roles in crypto. New leadership, new headcount, when to pounce. The 5 red flags in crypto job descriptions, proof of fit versus proof of work, and which crypto jobs are recession proof. So these are some of the topics that I put together for us. Also would love to go through what we're hiring for. We actually filled 4 or 5 roles yesterday, so we're thinning out a little bit. I had a hiring call yesterday. They're hiring 3 roles, so I should have 3 to 5 new roles coming up here for you soon. So what I've got right now, and if you're interested, leave a comment, shoot me a note. Email is like the worst way to get a hold of me, unfortunately, but LinkedIn is great. Text is great. So just hit me up there. Anyway, so right now I've got a confidential VP of product. I have another account executive for a crypto data firm. We actually just placed 2 people in this role and they're still hiring more. Let's go. We've got an FP&A manager. This is more on the analyst level. So doing a lot of financial modeling and forecasting. We have a head of growth. This has to do with capital markets. So this company is looking to expand into capital markets and help launch their ETF. We have a founding engineer and a staff and back engineer. Let me take a quick peek and see what tech stack those are at. So the founding engineer is, oh my goodness, front end, back end. Let's see here. So obviously someone that's experienced with DeFi, looking for 5 years of experience in software engineering. So front end, Next.js, TypeScript to name 2, and then back end, Node.js, also TypeScript. MySQL, Drizzle, Axiom, Sentry, technologies like that. So that's the founding engineer. Ivy, it's so good to see you. I'm having coffee and turning into blockchain brunch. I've got to get mine. Tis right here. So let's talk about the staff back end. Let's talk about this tech stack. So Node.js, MySQL, Python, familiarity with verifier networks like EigenLayer. Experience with time series based monitoring, liquidity analysis, and P&L optimization. So interesting. Okay, this is not my client. My team is working on this role, but these roles are kind of sexy. We have a Flutter software engineer lead. That's an interesting one. And then a director of operations for a crypto trading firm. So this is way more than just ops. It's product, it's a little bit of sales, and it's trading operations. So we had a couple people interviewed for that role. Really exciting company. On top of that, in New Jersey or Tampa, we're going to talk about return to office in a minute. We've got a senior Solidity developer. So that's actually with one of our largest clients. Very exciting opportunity. We have a product manager, a React Native developer, a senior API engineer for an open finance platform. I also have a chief technology officer. That one is new. Salary here is 1 to 120. I'm sorry, 120 to 200. Very flexible on salary. And there's token allocation as well. Maybe a little equity there, but they're looking for someone that has experience working. I'm like losing my voice, working at a DeFi protocol on Solana. So that's what we're looking for there. Back to the rest of our jobs. We've got a chief operating officer for a crypto mining facility. I'm kind of in final rounds here, but we're looking for someone that has actual experience building out a data center, like the construction, the tools, the people, like building out a data center. So this is not my specialty. I am more on the crypto blockchain side than I am the construction side, but we're giving it a shot. So we've had a couple people interview. It seems like a really exciting company, up and coming Bitcoin mining and AI data center. Last but not least, I have a staff backend engineer for another trading company. Max salary on this is $350, something we're also going to talk about. But this is a Telegram bot, so I need someone with Telegram bot experience. All right. So what else do we have going on here? Hi, Imran. Nice to meet you. Elu. I don't think anybody wants that coin, so best of luck there. All right, so let's dive into it. We're waiting on Trev. Okay, not here. Oh my God, I still have this asset thing on me. I'm so sorry. All right, so let's talk about who's actually hiring in Web3 this summer. You guys ready? So global hiring crypto job postings increased by 60% year over year, with key roles in blockchain engineering, smart contract developers, ZK cryptography, product compliance, and some of these roles, like we have discussed, offer salaries up to 300K. We most recently filled it, but I was working on a quant trader base 3 to 5. So salaries are not like insane, but they're getting back to being really good. So top hiring companies, just to name two, Coinbase actually plans to hire 1,000 new US employees in 2025. They're putting 130 roles in Charlotte focused on compliance and customer operations. So if you are interested, Coinbase does a lot of contract hiring. That could be a great name to have on a resume. Layer Zero Labs also showed a steep job opening growth, 650% month over month. So they're really scaling. So what I would suggest is track the jobs. Set up job alerts on crypto jobs list, cryptocurrencyjobs.co, remote3.co. Remote3 alone lists 22,000 Web3 roles and like 3,000 are added monthly. Highly encourage you to reach out to those resources. Let me check our comments. Hi, Noella. It's good to see you. Shane, if anybody is looking, can I do this on the back end? Hold on. Let me do this. It's technical difficulties. Hi, Ivy. Hi, Noella. Shane, if anyone is looking for marketing or sales, give me a shot. I would absolutely love to get back into the crypto space. So Shane, I'm so glad you left this comment. I would love to give you a piece of feedback, some unsolicited advice, my specialty. So when you leave a comment like this, or you reach out to a hiring manager that says, I would love to get back into the space, right? You want to make it more about them, right? You and everybody else and their mother wants to get into crypto, right? So why should they give you an opportunity versus someone else? So instead of saying, I would love to get a shot to go back into the crypto space, I would, so if anyone's looking for a marketing or sales, give me a shot to exercise my previous experience doing X, Y, and Z. I have helped companies do X, Y, and Z, right? You want to show them, how do you bring value to them? I was just editing last week's blockchain brunch, which is so much fun. And that was something I talked about was we're not all here to sit in a circle and sing kumbaya. You know, we're here to generate revenue, to make companies successful, to find product market fit, to push this space forward. So if you are passionate about this space and you want to push crypto forward, you have to talk about the value that you bring. If they don't see that value immediately, they're going to ignore the message. So Shane, I hope that was helpful. Wasn't trying to like crap on you. Just, I want to set you up for success. And that's something that I'm really proud about is like, if I can help you find a job, amazing. If someone else can help you find a job, amazing. Goal accomplished. We are here to help set you up for success in your career search. And that's one thing that we don't really talk about is how depressing, I mean, we have talked about it, but how depressing the job hunting process can be. People feel like they're, not great professionally, right? How am I going to pay my next credit card bill? How am I going to get my phone to not get turned off? Like, these are real anxieties and real problems that people are facing. But, oh, this is my dog, by the way. But you can't get too wrapped up into that intensity of, really needing a job. You don't want that to come through during your interviews. So just a piece of feedback. Let me go back to some of the comments. Noella, are these remote openings for folks sitting globally or just US? So that's a great question. Fair question. When you see a job posted on LinkedIn and it's listed as remote, remote New York, remote United States, it's most likely just for United States candidates. And the reason, and I know that's frustrating. I know that's very frustrating. The reason why is time zones. Companies, 2020, 2021, 2022, everybody was hiring in a very decentralized manner, right? We were hiring people all across the globe. So people were constantly, working, right? You're working 24/7 when someone's international, constantly pushing to achieve company goals, right? Where was I going with this? I need more coffee. Oh, that's what it was. So time zone. So what's happening is they hired globally, and then people weren't showing up for 2:00 in the morning meetings, 4:00 in the morning meetings, which makes sense. Who wants to show up for a 4 a.m.? Not me. I've done it, but if I had to do it every day, I would not be cooking with gas. So that causes tension, because if you have something that's due and you can't get a hold of the person that's, I don't know, maybe in Nigeria when you're based in Pacific, that can delay things. So a lot of companies are looking for people in the same time zone or 3 to 5 hours away. I think there's also a lot of companies that don't understand how to do international payroll, international laws. And I think it's just easier to hire someone in the same area, right? You understand the legalities. So what I'm getting to is there's now all these platforms like deal.com that'll run international payroll for you, that'll give benefits. So I really wish for all my hiring managers in the audience, consider international employees. There's so many different reasons. My favorite is because there's always someone online pushing towards company goals, right? That's my favorite reason, is there's always traction, especially in community management, because that world is 24/7. I want to make sure that companies understand, it doesn't have to be limited to the US, and there's plenty of tools that will allow you to employ internationally. But a lot of them, they've got so much going on. It's something that they don't just want to deal with. So I'm just That was not ideal. Okay, I'm frozen. That was a great picture to be frozen on. So impressed with that face. Madeline, good morning. Ivy, hello again. Elias, hello. Imran, yeah, people connect with Imran. This is a great opportunity to connect with people, right? You can go into LinkedIn, look at all the attendees, send them connection requests and say, now I normally tell people don't send notes in a connection request, but since you guys are in the same room, you can say, hey, it was great. It was great to see you in the chat for Emily's blockchain brunch, or hey, I hope you enjoyed blockchain brunch as much as I did. I saw you signed up. I'd love to connect. But that is how I would go about that. Networking with people that are in the same events is just like an in-person event, right? Like you go, you meet people, you put yourself out there. You can't be a wallflower. Hey, Julio, it's good to see you. So it's so funny. Julio introduced me to his friend's son, who is an incredible blockchain developer. And Julio, to kind of update you, it was sweet. So, he was like, I'm really passionate about blockchain. I really want to get into it. And then I asked him, he was like, I'm very knowledgeable. And I asked him a couple questions. I was like, okay, what's your favorite L1 and L2? And he didn't know the answer to those questions. And one of the things I will say is when you come to these interviews, you come to not really a recruiter, but you come to these hiring manager interviews, you need to have some of those that basic knowledge, right? So one of the things we discussed was maybe, for him, he was in financial services. It may have been what we decided was that he should go to a fintech company or a financial service company that's going to bridge into crypto. So that way he gains that hands-on experience while not making such a big change, right? So don't give me that emoji. That's a sad emoji. I don't like that. Shane, thanks for the input. Emily, here's a slightly longer pitch. Appreciate what you're doing here. Absolutely. So here's the exciting pitch. I'm excited to explore new opportunities in the cryptocurrency industry, bringing over a decade of hands-on experience in internet sales, marketing, and blockchain. Since driving into crypto in 2012, I've helped launch and promote multiple coins, including, not going to try to pronounce that, where I authorized the white paper and led early marketing and even ran my own exchange. Also not going to pronounce that. Gaining invaluable insight into market dynamics and compliance. My time in projects ranging from Bitcoin to grassroots tokens I don't see the rest of it, but my feedback for here is it's still very much about you. I'm excited to explore. Here's what I bring. Here's what I've done. I really want it to be a little bit shorter, right? I'm excited to explore opportunities in the cryptocurrency. How would I rephrase this? I was also last week's blockchain brunch. I was trying to give advice and like my brain was foggy. So anyway, I'm going to try to do it again. Instead of I'm excited to explore new blockchain opportunities, say, hey, name, really excited to see what you've accomplished at X, Y, and Z company. I actually bring with my decade of experience with internet sales, marketing, and blockchain. And then I want you to switch that. I want you to do my experience in blockchain marketing and internet sales, because you want them to see what you want them to see, right? I've authored white papers and led early marketing. Hey, Trevor. And even ran my own exchange, right? So position it about, and even did X, Y, and Z for an exchange, right? So give some tangible numbers, like exactly a company is hiring you and they want you to make an impact. So you've got to show where you're going to make an impact, right? And put that in writing, but it's got to be 3 sentences. Julio, you are welcome. I got you. Torsten, good morning. Great to see you. Trevor, how's life? What's going on?
Good. Happy Wednesday, everyone.
Do you like my new angle?
I do like this angle.
My head is higher so we can see over the chats. I'm a fan. Torsten says hi to you too. So Trev, to catch you up, today, so we talked about who's actively hiring in the market. The next thing I want to talk about is the quiet shift to part-time and contract roles in Web3. So 53% of Web3 roles are remote, and I've done a lot of research on this, especially with our clients. 25% are hybrid, and companies are increasing to hire hybrid and full-time in-office candidates. They are looking for people to enhance the culture, work more collaboratively. I still have very mixed reviews about this. Though I understand the business case, I also think hire adults. You know what I mean? Like hire people that will do the job, that aren't slacking or staying at home and doing nothing. That's where we come into place. You want to use us to hire the right people. So anyway, high hourly contractor rates. Contractor rates have gone through the roof. So if you are curious about how much you should be asking for on a contract basis, you want it to be the hourly rate is your salary divided in 2. So let's say your salary is $100,000. So that is $50 an hour. And you want to increase that by 20%, right? Because it's not a long-term opportunity. You're probably not going to get benefits. So you need to increase by 20%. So your rate minimally is $60 an hour, right? I am seeing contract jobs up to like $200 an hour. I mean, it's been incredible, but they're short-term contracts, right? And there's positives and negatives to this. The positive is it's great experience. You get to learn something. The negative is when that contract ends and you've got a gap in your employment, it leaves questions. So a little TMI on me. In a previous life, I was a recruiter for financial services. And I did that for 5 years. And I worked mainly on contracts, on high volume recruiting. So my biggest challenge and what I took so personally and held in such high regard was that exact situation. I would put someone on a contract position. They would be there for 8 months. The contract would end early. And now it's like the appearance on their profile, the appearance on their resume, and it doesn't send a good message. So if you are doing contracts, a way to get around this is to have your own LLC. And on LinkedIn, you put, let's just call it Emily Landon LLC. And then under that LLC on your resume and on your LinkedIn, that's the company name, you're going to put the projects, the contracts that you've had. So you're going to have Consensus, 8-month contract, performed X, Y, and Z, Relic, 8-month you know what I mean? So that way it looks more like, it looks that you've been there for a longer time. I am very passionate about the psychology behind recruiting, behind looking at job applications. And sometimes you just have to get past the human impression. Trevor, do you have any thoughts on that?
No, all really good stuff. I think that we should be looking at the contracts as an opportunity to gain that much needed experience in this space because, one of the other big criticism for people getting into the space is it's like, I can't get a job. And a lot of our hiring managers and a lot of the top players in the space, they want people to have experience before they get a job. So it's kind of like we're in this situation, what came first, the chicken or the egg, right? So
Yeah.
I think that a contract opportunity or volunteer opportunities or internships, these are great stepping stones. It's doesn't have to be the end all be all, but I think that you do have to make sure that you are explicitly stating what you did in that amount of time as well too, and take that contract opportunity as such, right? Like contracts can lead into much more. You're able to get a lot of people in the company to vouch for you if you did a really good job that you may never have had an opportunity to do before. So I always look at these as positive situations if you spin it the right way.
LinkedIn recommendations can make a big impact, right? There's a lot of fake profiles on LinkedIn. So when you have a LinkedIn recommendation, not only does it validate that you did a good job, but it also validates that you're a real profile, right? That's something that's really critical. We just had 2 conversations with companies. Um, they want to use us specifically because they keep getting fake profiles. I mean, and it's not easy to screen these guys out. It really
Mm.
isn't. I mean, you have to get to know these people on a very deep level to be able to understand, like, are they a real person? What are their intentions? I think something that I really love about my job is basically I profile people. You know what I mean? I jump on the phone with them and I can usually tell pretty instantaneously, if they're legit or not. And I think the worst part about recruiting, the part that I hate about my job is when someone blatantly lies to my face and it's like, I know you're lying. You know you're lying. Yet we have to finish this conversation. You know what I mean? I got to spend 20 more minutes, with you just lying to me. So
My favorite part of this industry, favorite part about recruiting is the reverse ghost. So a lot of people like to talk about like how recruiters ghost people, recruiters ghost people. I will never name names, but I've lost count of how many people were my best friend when they needed a job, and I helped them find a job or helped them get in a better position, and then when they moved on, now it's just like I don't ever exist. So it's interesting because one of the things that, and I remember our early conversation before I even joined the team was that, like I said, the one aspect that I hate the most about this industry is that transactional aspect. Recruiting can be very transactional, and that's something that we take a lot of pride in it not being such, but it happens to recruiters as well too, folks. So like understand that, never take it personally, and just understand to kind of like put people where they need to be so you don't have to waste your time and energy, because if you try to focus on every person that ghosted you or every person that didn't fall, like you're just going to drive yourself crazy, and spend that energy on really focusing on the people that are bring value to you, the people that do resonate with you, the people that are trying to help you and that you can help them. So it's a team effort, and it's never just kind of a solo sided type of activity.
yeah. So Torsten had a point about ghosting. Some big players have been hiring recently. Only wish those big players weren't ghosting you after the intro call first interview. So I have some thoughts here. My first thought is there is a very large company in the ecosystem. I'm not going to call them out, and they hire contract recruiters. And these recruiters know nothing about crypto. Absolutely nothing. So when they get into these jobs, it's incredibly overwhelming, and you're talking to so many people and learning so many different things, and things just fall through the cracks. Am I saying that's acceptable? No, but that's a reality. Things fall through the cracks. When you've got 50 people coming at you at one time, right? Something's bound to fall through. So that's where we hiring managers, internal teams, external teams, we need your help. We need you to participate in this as much as we are participating in this. So if you haven't heard from me, call me, text me, DM me, right? Like it's not that I don't want to respond to. I've just got 200 people. I have 1,200 connection requests I have to get through. 1,200. That's going to take me, it takes me an hour to get through 100. So that's 12 hours of work right there. So if anybody wants to help me get through these connection requests, let me know. I'm taking volunteers.
There you go. Volunteer opportunity. Hint, hint.
There you go.
Also too, Emily, I think that we've gotten away from what the meaning of a relationship is. We've gotten so, as a society, unfortunately, I feel it's so one-sided and it's all about me. And most people only choose to give if they expect to get something in return. And it's a broken system. It doesn't work that way. If everyone wants a handout and no one's willing to put a hand in, what are we doing here? Right? So a relationship truly is that, you have to help the person that's trying to help you while that person is trying to help you help yourself. So it's just like, really, like, put that time and energy, as I mentioned before, into trying to put yourself in the best situation instead of like, talking about the problem. I feel like more people, unfortunately, they spend more time talking about the problem than actually trying to fix it. And that subtle mind shift and that subtle kind of, I would say, mentality shift, it's huge. It really, really is huge. So think of recruiters as someone like it's your friend, right? Like, imagine that friend that like they always call you and you pick up, hey, what's up, man? Hey, what's up, Trevor? I need you to go help me move. And the next week, hey, what's up, man? Hey, Trevor, my car broke down. I need you to come and jump my, give me help me with my flat. The next week, hey, how's it going, man? Hey, Trevor, what's up? I need you to, I need to borrow $100 from you. Like, if you imagine you being that person every time. Every single time that you call that person, it's always about me, give me something. And you're never like giving anything back to them. So like, imagine that kind of friendship. Would you want to like put time and invest in that kind of friendship? So when you're working with recruiters, and all of them are not recreated equal and they're not all as awesome as we are, of course, but you really want to make sure that, you're doing your best to help them and understand that, they are still a real person on the other end until like AI comes along 10 years from now and takes everyone's jobs.
Oh, stop it, Trevor. That's never going to happen. That will never happen. I feel 100% confident that AI is not going to take our jobs. I feel very firm on that. Let's answer a couple questions. So, Bobby. Hey, Bobby. Good to see you. Bobby and I go way back. Fake hiring managers from real companies is another big problem. Beware job hunters. Absolutely. You have to check how many connections do you have? How many mutual connections? DM those mutual connections. Hey, John Doe, do you know so-and-so? That's a totally fair ask. I think, look at those recommendations, look at the endorsements on their skills. There's so many different ways you could go about this, but like, I get at least 3 to 5 DMs a day that are like, hey, Emily, do you know this recruiter? Hey, Emily, have you heard of this company? And you know what's interesting, Trevor? I guess anybody can just be a crypto recruiter these days. Like anybody. Like people are just starting their own firms left and right. What bothers me is when someone has no experience with recruiting and starts a recruiting firm. Like, how does that work? So, yeah.
And, it's funny because I think that they quickly find out that it's not as easy. Recruiting in any industry, I don't care if you're recruiting for friggin' ice blocks to build an igloo in Alaska. Like, anything that you recruit for is hard. This industry is it's insanely difficult. Like, it takes so much time to understand the nuances. And once you figure out the nuances, guess what? It changed.
Yeah.
As soon as you learned about this particular blockchain and protocol, guess what? Something else came out that's a competitor. That's the beautiful thing about it, right? And I don't think that everyone does have the chops for it, unfortunately. And you have to do a really good job at vetting your recruiters, your hiring managers. And unfortunately, right, we do live in an element of reality where there is fake, right? There are fake no matter what you do, no matter how many authentic real people are out there, I feel like for every real person now in the world, there's probably 1,000 fake people. So it's, you really have to make sure that you're putting your stock into the people that are real and actually bringing real value and calling them out for it. But that's a whole nother conversation. But when it does come to being like fake, we have to deal with it ourselves, right? Like I was looking at just random LinkedIn recommendations, or people I should like LinkedIn with suggestions, and it looks like we have, I don't know what today, maybe 5 more that work at the crypto recruiters. They have a stupid profile picture, no information, and they're going out and they're trying to be scammy and probably scam people to get like, it's just,
Yeah.
it sucks. It sucks. It sucks. It sucks. But we've vocally talked about it. How long, Emily? And unfortunately, all the time we've talked about these fake profiles, how many fake profiles have gone away?
Oh my God.
Absolutely zero. So you know
0.
what? I
They
don't
just
even
keep
talk about it
coming.
anymore. It is what it is. You just have to understand that as well too, folks, that there's going to be people out there that no matter what, they're going to be like that. So just do your best to educate yourself and talk to the community as well too. They're really helpful in being able to kind of like weed out some of this stuff. And if it feels like it's too good to be true, most of the times it is.
Sorry, I am dying with Matt's comment. So if you don't have a job in Web3, start a fake recruiting company. Got it. Apparently, that's the theme of the hour. So really quickly, what is your name? Jeremiah left this comment. Sorry that it doesn't say what your name on our screen, but what's the best way for the employee to maintain contact with the recruiter without annoying them with updates? Okay. Question for you. Let me actually look at your profile, Jeremiah, to see what you do. So Jeremiah is a senior director of strategy, marketing, data, and audience. Very cool. So marketing. So Jeremiah, here's my question to you. If you employed a graphic designer and on Friday they needed to deliver an item and it's Thursday, would you touch base with them? If they didn't deliver it on Friday, would you touch base with them? If they didn't deliver it on Monday, would you touch base with them? Heck yeah, you would, because that's what you need, right? To get your job done. So here's my opinion. When you are proactive in your job search and you're going out there and you're following up with people and you're being thorough and thoughtful, that's a signal as to what it's like to work with you, right? That's a subconscious signal. Wow, Jeremiah's really following up. I love this. Like, it's so helpful. Like, imagine what he's going to be like to work with. So I find that, if someone gets frustrated because you're following up, probably don't want to work with them anyway. You know what I mean? You want to work with people that are diligent, that are on top of things. So if someone's going to give you sass because they're like, don't bother me, that's going to be a signal toward that's the type of company, that's the type of people that this company hires, number one. But number two, don't let anything get in your way. This is your job hunt. This is your career. Don't let some recruiter and their feelings get in the way of you getting that job. So if you come from a thought of like, if you come from the position of being helpful, right? So when I first started, I had this great candidate. And what he would do is he would send me, when I submitted his resume, we had a great call. He then sent me an email and said, hey, Emily, really enjoyed the call. Here's some bullet points that you could share with your client, right? And I just copy paste, added those to my notes, sent them right to the client, right? It gave me an opportunity to provide the client with some more information that, maybe we haven't covered, right? Or that's in the candidate's own words. So that was super helpful. And then the candidate saw the job closed on LinkedIn, not my job, the client's job. And they said, Emily, I saw the job closed, really still excited. Do you know where they're at in the interview process, right? You're not saying, hey, what about me? Hey, what about me? Hey, I'm here. You got to bring value, right? So that would be my thought there. Don't worry about annoying people. In fact, please annoy me. I need the help. I mean, and I think that's what happens with most recruiters and hiring managers. It's like, imagine you're going to a networking event, right? And you're standing there, you're presenting, right? You're working in crypto, you're presenting something, and you have 50 people that walk up to you in a group and say, hey, really impressed with your product. My name's Emily, right? You're meeting 50 people at once in a 2-hour span. You are not going to remember all of them. You're just not. You're just not going to remember them. So when you have 10 interviews in a week, things just mash up. You're not going to remember all 10 people. And that's why I advise people, when you interview for a job, send a follow-up, a thank you note that says, hey, really enjoyed talking about X, Y, and Z. I think I would bring value by X, Y, and Z. Also, great to meet another dog lover, right? You want to bring something in that note that you built rapport over so they remember you, right? It's not kind of, it is a sales process. You know what I mean? As a salesperson, if I don't hear back from you, I'm calling you again, right? Because you may have forgotten about me, which happens all the time. So
And it's
don't
also
let
as well
people.
too, right? Like
Yep.
the uniqueness in your approach and your outreach. Like if you were to go through and let's say someone was wanting to reach out to me and have a conversation with me, they never knew me before, and everyone's asking the same message. Well, I saw someone reach out to me, like they went back so far in my profile, like to a post that I posted maybe like 2.5 years ago, and they asked me a question about specifically about something. I was just like, holy, like that is buried thousands of posts deep. So
Wow.
you had to go really deep. You had to do something that 99.9% of people aren't going to do, and that got my attention because I'm like, wow, like I was like, wow, that was a long time ago. Like this person must be either stalking my life, or they're really interested in what I have to say, or they think I'm cool, or they think I don't know what they think. I was genuinely interested in the level of detail and the messaging and how far they went back, and it was a different approach. It was something that I forgot that I had posted, so they brought that back to my attention, and it really just stood out to me. So it's this same thing, right? Like if you're trying to send out cold messages and you don't know people on LinkedIn, you can refer back to a presentation that they did, when they first started in their career. And then you can say, hey, you know what? I looked back at some of your earlier videos when you first started your content, and just the way that you've grown and you bring value to the community. I think it's really, really awesome. And I really, just want to say shout out and thank you for what you do. That is like heartfelt, it's different, it's unique, and it's amazing, right? So it's the old saying that you're gonna get more. What is, like, you're gonna get more flies with honey than vinegar, or is it the opposite way around? I
I
don't
think it's
know.
bees.
Yeah, I think it is bees.
I think it's bees.
Bees, but bees make honey.
I mean, that's maybe why you get more honey from bees than vinegar. We could go all day into this.
Oh, but
I know more about
be different
crypto
in
than
your
I know
approach.
about that saying.
Yeah.
So whatever. I don't think that's important. But it's interesting, Trevor. So there's a new website, not new, but it's called Root Data. And Root Data will show when people leave jobs and when they start jobs. It's really interesting. So as an example, like Wintermute brought on a formal Ripple policy lead in the US. So this is a precursor to the team expansion. Coinbase's C-suite published a build of the Charlotte Center of Excellence. We talked about that earlier. So that is signaling operational compliance headcount. So basically, you want to monitor press. You want to look at
Yeah.
Axos and FinTech
Yeah.
Weekly, PR Newswire, LinkedIn for leadership and regional office launches, right? So the tactic here is reach out early to new regional leaders, right? Tailor a message. Congratulations on the Charlotte initiative. I'm based there and have 5 years of experience in financial compliance. That's it, right? But with all these new jobs coming up, there are red flags, and you can find them in the job description. So like vague crypto stuff jargon. So that indicates an unclear scope of the role. My favorite is entry level, but requires 5 years of experience. That is a mismatch. Buzzword overloads without specifics, like fast paced. Poor format or grammar. So like that is typically a sign of rush, like them being rushed. So God knows what's going on internally. And it also could be a scam. Upfront payment or asking for personal or financial information. strong scam. Run, don't walk away. There should be
Out.
like run away. There
Yeah.
should be no payment necessary for you to start a job. You don't need to buy a laptop. You don't need to send, what is it, Apple Music cards, iTunes. You need to make sure that they are providing you with the right stuff. So you should be getting a laptop from that company, not buying one on their behalf. So basically,
Don't
what we're
send
looking,
them crypto. Don't
don't
send them
send them
your
crypto.
wallet. Like none of that. It's just a scam. It
Yeah,
truly is a scam. Just don't do it.
it is. So basically,
Another
you're
thing too, Emily. Before we move into the next, is also paying attention to the length. Like, how long has this job been posted? Right. So, like, there's some companies that you look back and as a job seeker, it's really important for you to track that information because if a job's been open for 6 months, like what is going on? Like it can't really be that important if it's really been open for 6 months. Maybe it's not a priority, or maybe there's just some things that are going on internally, or there's just a lot of like chaos that's going on. But like these jobs should not be open that long, especially senior level roles. Now that can be sometimes, unfortunately, the ignorance of leadership in the organization to be maybe think outside the box and be a little bit more flexible, or to maybe even explore other resources and avenues that they typically don't want to do, or they got, who knows. But you really want to pay attention to that kind of stuff. And one of the things that I was doing that I think that, there's a lot of tools and automated stuff that can help you track this. But when I was searching for jobs, I was old school, right? I had an Excel spreadsheet. I kept every single job, the hiring manager, the recruiter, the title, when I applied for it, when I got a response from it, what was the feedback. Like, it was neurotic. It was like probably overkill, but I was
yeah,
able to see different trends in that. Like, okay, well, I'm getting, I don't even like to use this word. I'm getting rejected for these type of jobs, but I'm getting interviewed for these kind of jobs. Is there something that I can be doing better? Is my resume reading more like sales? Is my resume reading more like marketing? Is my resume reading more like this? Like, why am I getting these types of interview requests? So that could be also something as well too. A lot of times that I find, that I know I'm jumping around here, but a lot of times I find that it's not the person, it's not the individual, it's your messaging. Like, you're not doing a really
yeah.
great job marketing yourself. And that's why you come to sessions like this, so that we can help you understand the lingo and understand what people specifically in this industry are looking for.
Great points, Trevor. So basically, going back to the red flags, does the JD list what results you will deliver, right? What are the must ship action items? Are the compensation and work models clear? Is there detail on team structure or reporting? And does the JD come from a reputable domain and company? So those are things that you're really looking for. Now, Jeremy had this question. I think it's Jeremy, right? I'm so sorry. Thank you, Emily and Trevor. Very helpful reminder. What are your thoughts on ways to maintain the recruiter relationship post hire? Great question. So I will tell you, something that makes me feel great is when candidates re-interact and they're like, "Oh my God, Emily, I got a job and you really helped me," or "Oh my God, Emily, I loved your most recent post. Your nails looked fabulous." Like, you know what I mean? Like, little things like that really separate you. So recruiters are really busy. We're really underwater. We have a lot of negativity in our lives, right? And I'm not saying negativity is in like boohoo negativity. I'm saying like when someone comes to me basically in tears because they haven't been able to find a job in 8 months, like that weighs on me, right? So to get these positive, supportive messages is really encouraging. And I remember them. So I would just say to maintain relationships with recruiters, be nice, be thorough, and compliment them on their work because recruiting is a thankless job. And also, last thing, if you're gonna, this is just a personal pet peeve. I understand that you shouldn't do something to get anything in return, but like if you can't say thank you, like just say thank you. You know what I mean?
It's
Like
it's
take 2 seconds.
it's it's, it's honestly amazing, and
Yeah.
like you mentioned, like it truly is a thankless job for the incredible amount of time and energy that goes into it. Like,
Yeah.
people think this is just like a just a
Easy peasy.
it's no big deal. They're just recruiters. They're just no one wants to help me. It's you have no idea how hard this is.
Yeah.
Like we are your career coach, we are your guidance counselor, we are your therapist, we are your resume reviewer, we are your advocate, we are the person that helps you to negotiate your salary, we're the person that can tell you in industry intel, like there's so much more than just that phrase recruiter. It's honestly it's kind of crappy the way it is, but like with everything, I've gotten to get past all of the people that don't say thank you and just appreciate those that do. And it's very little things, right? It doesn't have to be a long email or letter about, what you did. And because sometimes that can even sound cheesy, but it's just like, hey, you know what? I'm posting for the last 4 months every week jobs of other people that necessarily won't even put money on won't make me a cent. Mm-mm. But we do it because we care about the community. I am shocked I have 20,000 plus followers, and the number of people that say thank you is probably 0.0001%.
Yeah.
It's insane. But hey, it is what it is. And when you go through and you start to see that you do those small things, it can be so huge for someone that's putting so much into it. So guys, say thank you. It actually still works. It helps.
They're more likely to help you again. And don't abbreviate it. Don't be like, thanks. Thank you. I appreciate you. I'm just whatever. Okay, so we've got a couple comments. Robin, Trevor Talley is one of the best leaders around. 100% agreed. He's 100% the best. Go, Trevor. We love you. Puneet, thanks for the podcast. Happy to connect. Guys, again, this is a great place to connect with people. You're both at Blockchain Brunch. How do you feel about it? Was it fun? Was it annoying? Was Emily too loud? Do I need to turn my mic down? Feedback, welcome. Richard, how could you go about getting valuable feedback from interviews where you don't get the job? I found that once a potential employer tells you if they passed, they cut off communication. I'd really appreciate feedback on my interview, especially when I thought I did well. Fair, right? Fair. You're excited about the job. You prepped for it. You want to know what went wrong so you can do a better job. Companies don't provide feedback for legal reasons, right? A candidate could claim any sort of discrimination based off feedback, and that turns into a whole legal challenge. So companies err on the safe side and don't provide that feedback because they don't want any repercussions, right? So that's the main reason why companies don't provide feedback. Now, what you could do is you could say, hey, thank you so much, Richard. We're not moving forward with your application. Totally understand. I hope you find the candidate that you're looking for. May I be considered for future opportunities? ? That's it, right? See what they respond with. If they don't respond, that's kind of an answer. Maybe you're not a company culture fit, but I would continue to stay in touch. So 6 months down the line, hey, I don't know if you remember me, but I really enjoyed the interview. I saw you were doing cool things on LinkedIn. Just wanted to say great job. You know what I mean? Something little like that re-sparks the conversation. Hector, any thoughts on asking open-ended questions? Absolutely. You want to make sure you're asking open-ended questions. You don't want just yes or no. You want them to give you information, because if you have information about the company, then you're able to tailor your responses, tailor your strategy, tailor the 90-day plan that they're asking you to do, which I would not recommend doing unless it's like the right company. But a lot of the times these companies are trying to get free work. So I don't let my candidates do assessments unless they're paid.
Some of these assessments, because that's interesting. That's also coming up. But before we get to the assessment part, one of the other things is when you don't get the feedback from the interview, and you brought up a really valid point, because a lot of people they just don't want to get sued, right? Like, unfortunately, someone else that came well before you ruined it for everyone else, because there was someone that gave out really good feedback and actual honest, positive feedback, and someone got butthurt, and then they sued the company because it wasn't what they wanted to hear. Now everyone, unfortunately, has to pay for that. So it does suck. But, one of the things that you can learn in this process is this, like, try to also I think that one thing that people don't do enough is try to understand really what did they do throughout the process, like what from the initial start of your outreach. to the last interview that you had that didn't go the right way? Was there something that you did? Like, I don't know, was there a coffee stain on your shirt? It might be something silly. Did you misspell something in an email? Did you not follow up quick enough? Like, look at those kind of little things. Take notes after the interview. As soon as you get done with the interview, take notes. Like
or
when it's
even
fresh in your
during.
mind. What did I learn? Did I actually articulate my my skill set strong enough? Did I actually talk about the things that I wanted to talk about? Did I get nervous? Did I stumble? Like, all of those things, you have to be accountable on that yourself. And then, you know, if you don't get the job, but you've moved around, especially people, if you're getting like the second round, third round, you're getting multiple final round interviews, you're very close. It's something that you're almost there, and you have to really kind of tweak that. And then look into see, how do you compare against other people, right? There's someone that's going to eventually get that job. So keep on that company. When they finally make the hire, look at that hire, look at their background, and look at your background and what's missing. So, you know, there's tons of value in sometimes things that are not said overtly. And there's a lot of things that you can learn from silence.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's silence is an answer in itself. Is it an acceptable answer? No. Is it a, you know, warm answer? No, but it is an answer. So if you're looking for an answer and you're not getting one,
That
that is
yeah,
your answer.
that's an answer.
Yeah. So Jeremiah, sorry for calling you Jeremy earlier, has another question. What are your thoughts on spending time tailoring the resume for every job application? It's tough, Jeremiah. It's tough out here. So I have mixed reviews on it. On the back end of LinkedIn, you can upload a resume, and that will take all of your information on the resume and parse it on the back end of LinkedIn, which I think is great. But when you're applying, I'm not 100% sure if you can select whichever resume you want to submit, or if it just submits the one on the back end of LinkedIn. So if anybody, I should look into that. But if anybody has that answer, let me know. So that being said, you know, I think when you're submitting a resume on like Indeed or Monster or Career Builder or cryptojobs.com, I think it is important to tweak the first sentence, right? When I'm looking at a resume, I'm always reading the first sentence. I'm kind of bubbling down for the summary. I'm looking at titles, companies, how long you've been there, and then I'm looking at your experience. So let's say you are a marketing manager and the job description, the required section, says 2+ years of experience with HubSpot, graphic design experience, Figma experience. The first sentence I want you to put in there: marketing manager with 2+ years of experience with HubSpot, graphic design, and the last thing that I said. I'm out of coffee. I need another. Like I'm like this far down. I need a little bit more. Oh, perfect. So Jeremiah said you can select each resume. Beautiful. Then yes, I would definitely customize, but just the first sentence, right? You want them to see what you want them to see. And my idea for you, or my goal for you, is I want you to submit that resume, them to look at it for 3 seconds and be like, yes, Jeremiah is the guy, just based off the first sentence. And it's the same thing with your LinkedIn tagline. When you send someone a connection request, all you see is their first name, their last name, their mutual connections, their picture, and the beginning of their tagline. You don't even get to see their whole tagline, right? So it's really important you have like the first 3 words are critical to make an impression. So if you're going to edit your resume, just edit the first line. It's the easy way out. Don't like copy verbatim, but definitely make sure the required information is in that header summary. And the most important is right up front, right? First sentence of your resume. I am a this, I have this many years of experience, and I do this, right? Marketing manager with 3 years of experience in crypto, focused on content and community building. That's it, right? First sentence says it all. So I hope that's helpful, because that's what I would do. All right, Torsten, been tweaking my CV with the help of ChatGPT for each application lately. Yes, love this. Make sure there's no dashes. And you also want to make sure it's not too high level, right? An average recruiter, so recruiters are recruited recruiters become recruiters right out of college, right? So they're hired entry level, they're trained up, and then they're set to go. My recruiting experience was much different. So I was working at a SaaS company, and I get a call from this recruiting sales leader, and we had a great conversation, and I let him know very tactfully. I was like, hey, listen, we don't work with recruiting firms, which like sucks now, but and I don't want you to waste your time, pipelining us. So I would just take us off the list. He was so impressed with our conversation. He offered me a job on the phone. I started next week because I did not like the SaaS company that I was at. I started next week, but the problem is there was no training for me. None. It was just, all right, Emily, here's a phone, here's a LinkedIn license, like have fun. And I made the most of it. I took that opportunity and I ran with it. But what I'm saying is the average recruiter that's getting started, that's doing the high volume recruiting on the lower to mid-level roles, they don't always know what they're doing. And I say that because I didn't know what I was doing when I first started because I had no training and I just had to figure it out. And what I've learned throughout my 10 years of experience in recruiting is not everybody takes advantage of opportunities, right? You could be presented with a multitude of opportunities. You can bring a horse to water, but you can't make them drink. So a lot of recruiters take the easy way out. I've met so many recruiters, crypto recruiters, TradFi recruiters. It's just the variety of personalities and work ethic and mentality is just incredible. So what I would say is, when you're working with a recruiter or you're meeting a recruiter for the first time, look at their LinkedIn profile. Do they have any content? Do you like their vibe? Look at their company page, right? Where do they come from? And this is important because people, hiring managers, work with people, recruiters that they like. People work with people that they like. Hiring managers work with recruiters that they like. This is critical because if I don't want to even say me, if a recruiter were to represent you and that recruiter doesn't have a good reputation and is not on good terms with that hiring manager is not going to hire you strictly because you came from them, even if you're the perfect fit. So you want to be working with recruiters that have a great reputation, they know what they're talking about, and they have relationships. It was interesting. I was thinking about this last night. I'm not trying to brag, but there's a reason I have 50,000 followers. There's a reason Trevor has 20,000 followers. And that's because we do good stuff. We have good intentions. We get out of the universe what we put into the universe. We try to keep it fun. We're putting our own spin on recruiting. I don't know if you guys know this, but our company was founded as a New Year's resolution. Seriously, January 1st, 2020. We believed that crypto could be better. Crypto could be better. Crypto's already great. Recruiting could be better. We thought it could be more ethical, more organized. We think that ghosting is completely unacceptable. I think with the right recruiter, it can even be a fun experience. You know what I mean? And that's a part of what has set us up for success and sets us apart from everybody else is like, I hope, tell me if I'm wrong, but I hope that like doing the right thing and doing the thing the right way the first time has really, our community feels that. I hope, let me know if you guys don't. But I really hope that we put a lot of love into our work. And that's something I recently started sharing with clients. When they talk to me and they're like, Emily, what differentiates you from everybody else? And I'm like, when you cook with love, it takes extra time, but it tastes much better. It's kind of the same thing with our service. We put a lot of love into our work. I put a lot of love into our candidates. If you're in the room and we've worked together, feel free, make a comment. I want to make sure that everybody is happy. They're in a healthy career. And even if I don't get anything out of it, I get to go home at night knowing that I did something good. That's what I get out of it. I want to be proud of myself. And I am really proud of myself.
As you should be. It's one of those things too. And I've noticed this. It's like when I was like boiling water to make tea, and this is something so silly, but it goes back to our example, right? I was boiling water to make tea. And then like 30 seconds later, I went back because I just went something off. I was probably reading crypto updates. And then I forgot about it. I'm like, all right, let me go put that tea bag into the water now. And it's like, it's lukewarm. It's like barely warm at all. Yeah. If I had actually boiled that water, it would have taken me maybe 5 minutes longer, but I've tested this and I've like, wow, the water when I boil it, it stays warmer way longer. It just feels better for some reason. I don't know why that is. I don't know if there's anything scientifically different about it, or the way that the radiation or whatever from a microwave affects the molecules. But it was just like, wow, that's really, really friggin' interesting. So the same thing with this, right? Yes, it may take a little bit longer for some things to come to fruition when you do it the quote unquote right way. Yes, it might take you a little bit longer when you're not trying to cheat, steal, and screw people over. Yes, you may not get the immediate 15,000 followers when you go put some scandalous photo online just for clickbait. Yes,
Yeah.
it might take you a little bit longer. Yes, it might take you a little bit longer to grow that community. But guess what? The people that actually get with you, they're real people. They're not just there riding the wave or whatever's hot now. They're more likely to actually truly bring you value than just to be knowing a bunch of people that are just there for optics, right? So like sometimes folks, we got to get like throughout the BS and like realize that, yeah, I'd rather have, 100 true strong people on my team or in my circle than 50,000 fake people. That's just me. Now, that's the way it works for me, and that's my strategy. If that's the way that you want to do it, cool, go for it. Or you can go another way, but you have the option to do so. But we just want to be different, right? Because everyone in this world is trying to be the same.
You know what's interesting? You can actually make friends on LinkedIn.
Yeah.
You can. I have made so there are 7 people that I've met over the last 5 years that are invited to my wedding. I met my best friend in Chicago on LinkedIn. We're both in crypto. I can't tell you who she is, but she's the best. And yeah, so you can build real relationships on this
Yeah.
platform. Yeah. Okay. So Jeremy has a question, and then we're gonna wrap up, guys. Jeremiah, I'm so sorry. Do you go by Jeremy? Can we make that happen? Jeremiah, you touched on it with your last response. How long do you think the summary should be on a resume? I think it should be max 3 sentences and then bullet points. If you can get that baby down to 2 sentences, you're cooking with gas, but you don't want it to be a big chunk of text. They're not going to read a big chunk of text. Make it easily skimmable. Bold things throughout your resume, right? You want them to see what you want them to see.
You know that you brought this point up as well too. On your resume, especially if you're working at companies, not that they like, and please don't take this wrong, like they might just not be as known, right? They might be a smaller shop, they might be an organization, especially if you're trying to break into the US market and like you've only worked for German companies, whatever, right? Like if you list that company on your resume, that could be a great opportunity for you to help the recruiter help you by just putting a quick sentence about like what that company does, because there's a lot of projects, and unfortunately as recruiters, especially the newer recruiters, they may not be, they're going to know what Coinbase is, they're going to know about Kraken, they're going to know about Gym, they're going to know about these top companies. But if you
Maybe.
were working,
Maybe.
yeah, maybe, but hopefully they should know about these organizations. But if you come from a smaller shop, like they may not know that it's a Solana shop, or it could be something that was in the Ethereum ecosystem, or they may not know that it's like a Bitcoin company. And if that's the kind of company that you're trying to go for, you have to be explicit in painting that picture for the person so that they don't have to put in the guesswork. Because as soon as you make a recruiter start to be like, oh, I've never heard of this company, most of them are going to be like, I don't know this company. That's it. Like now, me, Emily, we would say, okay, what's this company? We will look and do a little bit of research. But now that's an extra step. The more steps that you add to a recruiter's life, the less likely they're willing to put that time into you when they can easily go to the thousands of other applicants that did that information for them. So you have to try to take away as many possible things that's going to make you lose. Like if you're putting stuff on your LinkedIn profile that may be a little bit, too, I don't know, political or whatever the case may be, right? Like,
Religious. Too religious.
yeah, you're setting yourself up for bias. You're setting yourself up. You can't assume that the person that the hiring manager that you're working for doesn't like this candidate or that candidate. And at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. Like, just like, don't set yourself up for failure. Don't put things in someone else's mind to ruin your chances. And it's so unfortunate. Like I've seen people get so far, and then they just do something silly like that literally will ruin all their chances. So like there's a saying that it can take years to build trust and it can take a second for it to be broken. And it's unfortunate, but it's true.
It is true. We had a candidate that we placed at a company that decided to leave that company and wanted our help finding something else. I presented him to a different company and they asked for his Twitter, and he had some very strong political opinions on his public Twitter, so they wouldn't meet him for those reasons. So definitely something to be aware of. Oh, Jessica is here. Hey, Jess, good to see you. All right. So really quickly, Jeremiah, I would encourage you, and Jess, encourage you to look at your settings on the back end of LinkedIn and make sure your profiles are public, because you're not coming up in these messages, whereas everybody else is. So take a peek at that. Make sure your profiles are public. We've got 8 minutes-ish. Any last questions for us? Trevor, you did an incredible job today, as always.
Thank you. Thank you. It's
Thank
a
you for
team effort,
helping
my
me.
friend. Team effort, my friend. We
Always a team effort.
couldn't do this without each other. How many years have we been doing this?
So I've been doing it for 5. You've been doing it for 4.
Yep.
4 years. I can't believe that, dude. It's been incredible to work with you these 4 years, and for both of our hairs to get gray, and like, you're losing weight, I'm gaining weight. It's been an incredible journey.
It's a crazy ride, but for everyone that's listening, right? We didn't get to where we are today by just talking about it. I think that at the end of the day, right, these conversations are extremely important. They need to be had. There's thousands and thousands and thousands of hours of information about how you can do this the right way. I learned somehow. I mean, I wasn't just born with this information, or it didn't just magically just come into my mind. I had to put in the hard work. I had to be vulnerable. I had to make mistakes. I had to fail. And there's a really popular thing called failing forward, right? And there are many other people that talk about this, but failing forward is essentially taking risk and failing at something and understanding that it's not the end all be all, and that is something that's going to help you grow and learn. And you can fail to an extent as long as you don't take yourself out of the game, right? So that you're still a player, but you have to take those shots. And sometimes I found that in failure, at least for me, I found out so much more about my character and who I was, and observing other people when they fail, right? It's not about like failing, or it's not about falling down. It's truly about what do you do when it happens? When you know it didn't work out, what are you going to do? When you fall, are you going to get back up, or are you just going to like look around and like cry, like not whine about it, but like, what are you going to do about it? Right. So and when you're going through it, trust. It's not easy. It's not fun. But I remember, I can look back now at some of those points that like were my quote unquote low points. And that was just like a higher low of something previously before in my life. It continuously goes that way. And you have to understand that like the things that truly don't kill you, it does make you strong in the long run, especially in this business. So fail forward and fail often, because that's going to help you excel. And those are the kind of people that truly do, I would say, last in this industry, because it's so fast paced. So much is going on.
Great feedback, Trevor. As always, I want to give a shout out to our sponsors at ErgoQuest.
Yes.
I've got to oil this thing. But anyway,
I was gonna say thanks to our sponsors for Harmless Harvest coconut water. They are our unofficial sponsors, at least for me. And Emily was so kind to get me some for my birthday, and I had them for quite some time. But now I need to go buy some more, because I just ran out not too long ago.
I think I got
I'm crazy. I drink way too much coconut water. I don't know why, but coconut water is my jam.
I love it. All right, everybody, have a wonderful rest of your day. Trevor, hang on with me for a second.
Yeah.
Good to see everybody. Good to meet you. Thank you for joining.
Oh yeah, happy holidays too for the folks that are stateside. Happy holidays. We got 4th of July coming up. There's Obviously, blockchain brunch coming up. I know we got bullish
on next
on.
Thursday.
We have that. We got just shilling. We have our amazing YouTube channel. We're getting amazing stuff uploaded there. We have content all over the place. We're getting more, I would say, present on X. So yeah, follow us, folks. And if you don't, if you haven't, click that notification bell because the algorithms are changing again. Yay! The algorithms are changing. So you'll start to notice maybe that like people you follow for whatever reason, like they're not popping up, or you'll only hear about it after like a week afterwards. So if you found this information valuable, then go to all of our profiles, click the reminder button, go to Just Shilling, click the reminder button, go to Blockchain Brunch, click the reminder button, so that you're actually going to be there because we're putting a lot of time and effort into it, and we've seen a lot of people been able to succeed, and that's really what brings me joy and continues to keep me wanting to do this throughout all the craziness that we deal with.
Gotta have a reason. Gotta have a reason. All right, guys. Great to see you. We'll clip this up and not send it to you, but post it.
Send it.
Send it. All right, guys. Let's go. Talk to you later.
Bye, guys.